Mr. Chair, I also have a suggestion for, I'd like to add this resolution to our agenda for today.
You got one for legal?
Should. Well, I took one, so I know the resolution was good. Can we share it? Thank you.
Yes, this way, otherwise the camera can't pick it up.
Can we share?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go, yeah.
And I don't care where in the agenda.
I don't think that it was noticed to the public, so I don't know that we can put it on this agenda. We could put it on a future agenda.
The county policy dictates that we like to have these agenda items delivered at least 3 days before the board meetings themselves. As the Board of Commissioners know, we try to post all of this information on the county's website for public input. Now stating that there's nothing that would necessarily prevent the board from, or a commissioner from discussing this under their concerns or other portions of it, but for a resolution, past practice for the county has always been to have it placed on a board agenda with some notice, future notification provided.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to make a comment. It was impossible to get this probably on the agenda earlier because of events that occurred a couple days ago. And I think there's some urgency in dealing with this because it would tend to mitigate, this was formed by resolution by this board, and it needs to be unformed by resolution, and I think that's important that it be done as quickly as possible. And I think there are some mitigating circumstances in this specific incident.
Commissioner Harms and I are offering this resolution because of the court ruling yesterday. Part of this resolution that we feel is very important is that the auditor treasurer cease to disperse any monies from the account, the safe driving account, and also that the Sheriff's Department cease expending any monies that require a disbursement from this account. Also, we want to talk about the county attorney to develop options available to the board regarding the monies presently in the account, including but not limited to the liability of the county regarding the unauthorized class program, and provide the board with a written recommendation for the next board meeting as to what shall happen with those monies. But in the meantime, Commissioner Harms and I feel that it's very important that everything be froze at this point so that we are not in contempt of court. And it's a county policy, it's not necessarily found in statute. Therefore, with the urgency of the court ruling and the judge's authority was very clear, he wanted it stopped immediately. Part of that is, of course, the financial implications. That's why this resolution is being brought. As Commissioner Harms stated, the safe driving class was authorized through a board resolution. It would be appropriate to unauthorize it through a board resolution. And being a court of law has dictated to us that that is what needs to happen. I think we're duty-bound to do so promptly and look after taxpayer funds that are now sitting in those accounts and put a freeze on those immediately. That is why we have offered this resolution, and it is appropriate, and we are duty-bound to entertain this resolution, discuss it, and call for a decision. That would be my recommendation.
Our legal counsel said there are 30-some cities and counties participating. What it wasn't said is that there are 87 counties in the state of Minnesota, and every county has cities. So if you take that number in context, there's probably a whole lot more that are not participating than are participating. And when you say 30 and throw out the number 30 without that background, it sounds like, you know, everybody in the world's doing it. And that's not the case.
Mr. Chair. Actually, I have those figures. The state auditor did an audit of the state the end of 2013. Out of the counties running a diversion or safe driving program. Only 17% are breaking the law, violating the law. And of all the cities in the state of Minnesota operating a class, only 2% are violating the law. And so most of the people, most of the government entities in the state of Minnesota are getting it right. They are in compliance with the law. It's unfortunate we were one of the small percentages that weren't. But in any case, we digressed from the resolution. The resolution is that we stop it immediately in compliance with the court order, and that we freeze those accounts until we get a better grip on what's coming next, if there is something coming next. I'm not an attorney, but I watched the news last night, and there was a Hamlin Law professor on TV, called it an extortion racket, I guess was the terms he used. And also, they said that if the Attorney General now wanted to demand that these monies come back to the state, that would probably be an action coming from the Attorney General. And also, people, there's a question, I know some reporters called me last night wanting to know if the people get their money back. I don't have that answer, I don't know, but it would seem logical that that might be a legal question coming forth right too. So
Since we have a lengthy agenda and it's not on the agenda yet, can we just hold discussion until we determine which meeting this will be on, and then we can move forward with these discussions? We're just trying to approve the agenda right now. So do we have, I'll make a motion on the agenda to move item A down to R, remove item B, and this resolution that Deb would like to have should be on the next agenda. Because it wasn't noticed to the public, we're asking for an action item, we don't do that. We have county policy, and I think county policy is our law, and in a sense, and I think we should leave it at that.
Mr.
We
Chairman.
have a recommendation from our attorney's office. Our sheriff has said that he will not continue the program. I don't think your concerns are, I think you have concerns. I think they're legitimate, but I think that there's no risk that we're going to continue this program. So there is a motion on the floor.
You looking for a second? I can second that.
I got a second. Do we have any more discussion on the approval of the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Our policy, it does not trump Judge Fabian's ruling, so I think the board needs to be very cautious here, and I think to not include this resolution on the agenda is a mistake. I think it shows that the board is snubbing its nose at Judge Fabian's ruling.
I disagree, Deb, and I think we need to
so
move
I think
forward.
that
So
we need to-
we have a motion, and we have a motion in a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify with aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Motion carried. Do a roll call. Commissioner Harms?
Nay.
Commissioner Rushing?
Nay.
Springer's aye. Commissioner Wabi?
aye.
Motion passes. So staff updates.